Hi, this is Rockin' Robin, and you are on Rockin' Robin's Garage Sale Find, the YouTube channel that talks to you about everything reselling, reselling online, reselling at the flea market, Facebook Marketplace, you name it. Well, today I'm going to talk about consigning. Do you want to do stuff on consignment? Wow, we've been doing this for over 20 years, and you know what? We did a lot of consignment. We had a period where for 5 to 10 years, we had a store, and we did things on consignment. I have a lot of tips, a lot of secrets, a lot of ideas for you. If you're thinking about doing it for a friend, a family member, or just the general public, we have some good tips for you. If this is your first time here, we sell on eBay. We sell on Mercari. We sell on Poshmark, we sell on Facebook Marketplace, and we sell at the flea markets. We're going to give you a lot of good tips about doing items on consignment. Do you want to sell them? You think about it. We'll be right back, and we're going to give you some good tips. There are a lot of reasons that you would want to do consigning. There's also a lot of reasons you don't want to do consigning. First, we're going to talk about some of the reasons you want to, and then we're going to get into some of the things you don't want to do. Now, the first thing, if you want to do on consignment, what you need to know is items need to be at least $100, because if it's any less than that, they're going to sell for less than that on eBay. By the time there's eBay fees and your consignment fees, the person's going to get like $8, $10, $15. It's not worth it, and they get mad. So you got to make sure that when you do this, you take items that are worth at least $100. That is my first tip. Don't even bother doing anything on consignment unless it's valued at least $100. That's the most important tip, and that is for the good and the bad. That is something you need to know. Now, it's good if you have a store and you have a lot of people bringing in a lot of items. You can make a lot of money as long as they have good items. You have to be aware that you don't always want to take every item that they have. You have to be specific. You have to look them up. You have to know the value. You have to know if they're worth it. Now, you have to make yourself contracts. You have to have a contract for them to sign. You have to have something that says, I'm allowing you to sell this item, and I'm willing to take 50%, or you want to do, used to do like 30% plus eBay fees, but it's probably easier if you just give a certain amount, say 50%, whichever way you want to do it. But you have to know that the person's going to allow you to sell it. So they have to sign a contract, and they need to list all the items. You're going to have them list all the items, what it is they brought in, so that they don't say, hey, I brought this in and you don't have it. Where is it? You need to know exactly what, and you have to be willing to give it to them back if it doesn't sell. Different things like that you need to know. So the first thing to do if you're going to do this full time is you need to get a contract, and you need to list all the items. It gets very complicated. You may need to get a lawyer. That's what we did, and we had contracts. We listed all the items. Now, when they sell, you have to tell them specifics. You have to tell them how much it sold for. You have to tell them how much you took, how much eBay took, all those different items. So it's difficult if you have a store and you're taking those items in. You need to have at least 2 of you. I recommend 4. That's what I had. I had 2 full-time and 2 part-time, because that was the way to go. Now you need to advertise. You need to be doing a lot of things if you're going to get something and you're going to have a store. Now, you can make a lot of money if you can get a lot of things listed. You can get, you can do well, and you can survive. So it's a good thing when you do it that way. Now, you can also maybe go to an estate sale, and what items are not sold, you might be able to put some of those up, talk to the people. Maybe that's a different way to get some items and some different things in. It depends if they have somebody who's doing that or not, because a lot of people now, they'll have an estate sale and then they'll do that. Now, also, when people bring in things in consignment, are you going to sell them on eBay, or are you going to sell them on Mercari? Are you going to sell them on Poshmark? Are you going to sell them at a flea market? How are you going to sell them? You have to let them know, because bigger items you might want to sell at a flea market. different things depending on what you do. So there's a lot of things, and it's very complicated, but it can be a very good thing. Now, I told you I'm going to tell you some of the bads. Some of the bads are if you're doing them for a friend or a relative. It always causes complications. You need to be aware that they're going to think their item's worth more than it probably is. You may find sometimes that they may find a car truck and it is worth $150 and they thought it was worth 10. So there will be things like that. But if you do for friends or relatives, you know, it's just any kind of deal you do for your friends, for your relatives, there's always seems to be an issue. So those are some of the bad things. You don't want there to be an issue. You want to be able to do this and help them. Now, I wouldn't take a lot of items from a friend or a relative. I would maybe teach them how to do eBay, unless it's like your mother and she doesn't know how to do eBay, then you can do that. That's a different relationship. But there's a lot of people out there who lose their friendships over doing stuff on eBay. So be careful if that's what you do, because even with people who have come in and brought me items, you've gotten into fights, you know, they'll think, you know, why did you only get that for the item? I wanted this. There's all kinds of things. And if you do it for a friend or neighbor, make sure they know exactly what you're doing, how much you are going to sell the item for, how much they're going to end up with, the prices that they can get, because you don't want to go after and lose a friend because you're doing stuff on consignment. I don't mind doing a few things on consignment for friends if they're not expecting a lot of money, but if they have something that's valuable and they're saying, I have to get at least $3,000 for this, and you're not sure if they can get that much by the time everything's done, think twice. Doing things on consignment is good. That's what you make a living at, and you have everything down. But if you're doing it for a friend or a neighbor, think about it. Really think hard, because a lot of people say, oh, I'll sell that for you. I'll sell that on eBay. And I would roll my eyes thinking, that's a good way to lose a friendship. So be careful. Even though you know eBay, there's a lot of things that could happen. Maybe the item gets returned. Maybe you didn't realize something was broken or there was a stain, and then they're losing money, and they didn't know that there was a chance that they were going to lose money, because now they had to pay shipping both ways. The item was returned, or you're going to lose the money. What's even worse is when I do it and then I get stuck. Oh, be careful. I had an instance where I sold something very expensive. It was like $5,000. Okay, I sold an item for $5,000 once, and the person paid, but they didn't give me feedback. I didn't get anything saying that they got it, that it was okay. And the person wanted their percentage, was like $3,500. And I wanted to give them theirs, but I was worried that maybe the person would return the item. And if they returned the item and I had to give them their money back, and I had already given out the $3,500, where was I going to get that money from? Was I going to be stuck with the item? There's a lot of things that can happen. So make sure if you're giving someone money, you have at least 60 days before you give them the money. They're going to want it right away. And of course they would. And if the person gets the item and they've given you good feedback and they say they love it and everything is great, chances are good that you're going to be okay. But you have to be cautious, because things can happen, and it's very nerve-wracking. I once sold a golf club set for $1,000, and the guy got it and gave me good feedback. But then a couple days later, he said, "You know, you said these were graphite. These aren't graphite." I didn't realize that they weren't graphite. Now, I'd already paid the person who had brought them in, and there I was with this $1,000, and it wasn't graphite. I gave them $100 back, and they were fine with that. So I had a smaller percentage that I made, but I didn't completely lose out. But it was nerve-wracking. So a lot of times things can be upsetting. So you have to take all these into consideration before you decide if you want to be a consignor. So think about those things. It's a tough things to do, and you have to know that you're doing the right thing. So be careful. So if you like the things that we teach you and that we try to help you with all the time, please give us a thumbs up like that, and then subscribe to our channel. We want you to subscribe. We want you to like us. Then if you hit the bell, you'll be notified when we have other videos. And you never know what we're going to have that's going to pique your interest, because we help you learn all the time about eBay and Mercari and all those good things. We want to bring you our knowledge. We've been doing this for a long time, way too long, and we want to help you make more money. So now, if you have your own items or you have something on consignment, go give it a try. Go put it up on eBay. Go put it up on Mercari. Go sell it somewhere, and you go make yourself some money. See you soon.